The following is produced by 5 Star Productions USA, which is solely responsible for its editorial content and is sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.
See any bad movies lately? Well, why not recycle the tape? You know, it takes about 1/6 of a gallon of gas to produce each consumer-style VHS cassette. Now, every time you reuse that tape, you're conserving that much petroleum. Hi, I'm Corey James, and this is Today's Environment. On this show, we highlight real solutions going on right now that could help us stop draining the Earth and start sustaining the planet. It's a law of physics that says every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now, when humans create things to counteract the forces of nature, our actions can cause reactions that may cause bigger problems than the ones we fixed. Watch this.
Pure seduction. The clear blue ocean lapping the white sandy shores of a barrier island. Humans flock to this slice of paradise in droves, but the benefits of this island go far beyond being merely a mecca for sun worshippers. At only a half-mile wide and about 30 miles long, this fragile strip of land called Fire Island provides a natural barrier that protects mainland shores of Long Island, New York from ocean waves.
But standing up to the mighty Atlantic is no small task. Now, it's pretty calm today, but usually the awesome power of the crashing waves makes any ocean the most unrelenting chisel on Earth. The waves carve continents and keep all shorelines in a continuous state of flux.
These piping plovers are one of several rare and endangered species that are protected on the island. It's a good bet they would agree with efforts to protect and preserve this fragile barrier island. The natural forces of waves, winds, and currents create a westward flow of sand that maintains the island. Nature intends that the flowing sand constantly replenishes the beaches. Unfortunately, man-made disturbances have interrupted the course of nature. This rock jetty is nearly 1,500 feet long and extends 400 feet beyond the shoreline. Structures like these help keep the inlet open and in the same place by disrupting the natural flow of sand. While that helps to provide a clear channel for boats heading into or out of the bays, it starves downdrift beaches to the west by denying them the sand they need to survive. The natural force of the ocean continues to erode these downdrift beaches. However, they no longer receive replenishment. The fury of winter storms further batter these diminished shores and even take their toll on the now unprotected dunes. In some cases, man-made structures even lead to the creation of new inlets through the barrier. Studies indicate new inlets may allow increased water levels in the bay, increasing the threat of flooding in communities built in low-lying mainland areas that are now protected by the barrier.
The data that we have for this area show that in many cases, the worst erosion problems that we see are due to man's activities and not nature. Essentially, we've disrupted the natural processes in many ways. Now, there are a number of things, a number of management techniques we can use to restore these processes, but they can be very expensive. However, if you do look at the value of the barrier in terms of the protection it provides for communities and some of the natural resources in the Back Bay areas, what you find is that the cost of doing nothing to correct our past mistakes might be much higher than implementing these management techniques.
The fate of the environment lies in keeping a balance between man and nature, and in this case, a narrow strand of shoreline may be the lifeline.
Xeriscape. It's a big word for a bright idea. Use native plants and grasses in your landscaping and save up to half the water you might otherwise require. Get involved with Today's Environment today.
Watch them disappear. Today and every day, about 180 square miles of forest crashes to the earth, never to be seen again. Population pressures for treeless land account for most of this mindless slaughter. There's got to be a better way. Here's one idea.
This stunning forest vista takes your breath away, But without healthy, thriving forests, we'd all be breathless. People depend upon trees to absorb carbon dioxide and transform it into the oxygen we need to live. We also use the wood from trees to manufacture thousands of products for everyday life, like custom architectural woodwork, furniture, and kitchen cabinets. But can we enjoy the benefits now and make sure future needs are met? As a matter of fact, by practicing sustainable forest management, we have actually increased the number of thriving forests in the eastern U.S. over the past 50 years. At the same time, we've been able to enjoy the benefits of products that come to us from trees. Many individual landowners and companies involved with wood products are vitally interested in research that helps foresters create healthy and diverse forests. Professional forest managers have been practicing the science of forestry for decades. They get their knowledge from more than 70 accredited forestry colleges and universities. Today, over 6,000 students study silviculture, wildlife management, outdoor recreation, and timber harvesting and regeneration. A key focus of these college programs is to refine and improve the understanding of scientific forest management and provide the knowledge that has been helping to grow, harvest, and renew our hardwood forests. As part of the sustainable forestry strategy, innovative wood processing techniques help minimize the number of trees needed for harvest each year. Modern sawmills use advanced technology like thinner saw blades and computerized scanners to make sure that more of the tree becomes lumber. By maximizing the use of every wood chip, very little, if any, of the tree goes to waste. In the furniture plant, computer-controlled machinery helps make the most of every board. Thin sheets of veneer sliced with razor-sharp blades can stretch the hardwood resource even further. Proper management guarantees that trees are a renewing resource we can depend on for years to come. 60 years ago, this lush forest was a cleared mountainside farm. The challenge for the millions of private individuals who own 60% of America's forests is to continue managing the forest in a sustainable manner so that future generations can enjoy the multiple benefits of thriving timberlands with diverse plant and animal species. In many timberlands, some tree harvesting actually benefits wildlife by stimulating new plant growth and providing easily accessible natural settings for recreation.
Sustainable forest harvesting is an environmentally sound and economically beneficial practice. It may sound unusual, but the growth of the wood products industry goes hand in hand with the scientific forest management for sustaining our hardwood forests.
It's a fact of life. Batteries don't always keep going and going and going. But even when they can no longer hold a charge, they can still send the environment into shock. When simply thrown away, their metals and acids often come back uninvited. Here's more.
Do you believe in life after death? Well, for humans, that question has confounded theologians for hundreds of years. But when it comes to batteries, the answer is quite simple. Yes. There is life after death. In fact, turning in dead car, boat, motorcycle, and industrial batteries for recycling may be one of the most important things an individual can do to preserve the environment.
Car batteries contain lead and sulfuric acid. Now, if they go to a landfill, those pollutants can find their way into soil, air, or water supplies. But when you turn in a dead battery, nearly 97% of its components find life in new batteries.
This new battery recycling facility in Columbus, Georgia, operated by GNB Technologies, reclaims the materials. A closed-loop business, it covers production and distribution of new lead-acid batteries, collection and recycling of dead batteries, and the use of reclaimed lead and plastic in the manufacture of new batteries. It's called Total Battery Management. Truckloads of spent batteries arrive every day, adding up to 9 million old batteries per year, and begin a process that turns these potential environmental liabilities into real assets. A totally enclosed system, GNB's environmental controls help prevent any materials from harming the plant workers, people in the community, and the environment. It separates the lead, melts it down, and recasts it for use in new batteries. The plastic battery casings get shredded, cleaned, melted, and extruded into pellets that are used for new battery cases. And even the sulfuric acid finds a new life. By adding neutralizing compounds, the old acid is turned into a harmless powder used as filler in detergents and other products. According to industry estimates, about 95% of lead-acid batteries get recycled every year, more than any other consumer product, including newspapers, glass bottles, and aluminum cans. Already, 43 states have battery recycling laws to keep them out of landfills and dumps. Lead-acid batteries provide far more than the spark that starts your car or runs the radio. They supply backup energy sources for huge computer networks, power railroad crossing signals, and cellular radios. They power many industrial vehicles and today's electric vehicles. The zero-emission electric vehicles of the future may also rely on power stored by lead-acid batteries.
As the demand for batteries increases, the need to recycle these units becomes critical, because when we keep these transportable power supplies out of the environment, they help us improve it.
Through total battery management, we take responsibility for our product even through the end of its useful life. Our new battery plant, which was built for the 21st century, is an example. The technology employed and the environmental controls place it a generation ahead of any battery recycling facility in the world.
What goes up must come down. Helium balloons released into the air can choke whales, turtles, and other sea creatures. Hold on to that beautiful balloon and get involved with today's environment today.
Jurisprudence. Even the greatest judges struggle between the spirit of the law or the letter of the law. Writing laws can be far easier than achieving compliance. But here's an idea that may help.
Meet the enforcers. They can make you comply with the toughest, most stringent clean air regulations in the nation. But if you think they rule with an iron fist, think again. These officials from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, which is the regional smog control agency for 4 Southern California counties, including Los Angeles, use facilitation as the key to achieving compliance. They help foster the technology development needed to clean the skies over Los Angeles. And their technology advancement program goes so far as to help finance the research, development, and prototypes necessary to make clean air regulations enforceable. Every dollar they invest in cleaner technologies attracts an additional $5 in public and private funds. $40.8 million invested in 250 projects has already spawned an additional $209 million in co-funding. The widespread use of alternative fueled vehicles like electric or fuel cell buses can help reduce smog levels dramatically. But the technology needs to improve before the dream of readily available zero-emission vehicles becomes a reality. Multiple investments help pioneer and explore many different alternatives to today's prevalent gas-guzzling emission-heavy combustion engines. In this fuel cell bus, a methanol reformer generates the hydrogen necessary to create the electric current that powers the mass transit vehicle. Additional AQMD funds help foster the development of clean industrial equipment and non-polluting substitutes for toxic materials. This drive to make the air over Southern California more healthful and breathable could have an enormous positive impact on the entire country and even the world. Developing green equipment and businesses offers major opportunities that may help Southern California replace dirty industries and retool the downsized aerospace industry.
The technologies in which we are investing will help cities and regions worldwide to fight smog and other forms of air pollution. In fact, the developing countries can utilize these cleaner technologies to sustain economic growth without compromising and degrading environmental quality, as has happened in lots of the developed countries.
The bureaucracy today is loaded with rules, regulations, mandates, codes, and laws, but legislation alone won't clean up our air, soil, or water. A partnership between government and industry that advances technology may be the solution to make the laws become real and the benefits mutual.
Gadgets, gizmos, and high-tech hardware. Developing the clean technologies is only the first step. Putting them to work translates their benefits from the drawing board to the bottom line. And helping businesses do that can help us all breathe a little easier.
Abandoned ship! Abandoned ship! That could have been the cry from frightened Los Angeles businesses.
In a bold step, the area with one of the worst air pollution problems in the nation passed some of the most stringent clean air legislation on record. Now, the challenge to comply with those regulations could have been overwhelming, but fortunately, there have proven to be workable alternatives to traditional polluting practices.
These workers at the South Coast Air Quality Management District are helping to provide technical, administrative, and management solutions that can enable companies to cut their pollution without cutting their budgets or staff. It's part of an economic development program to help businesses meet air quality requirements by adopting clean air technologies. Innovations developed in partnership with their technology office have been brought online at many local companies, especially firms in the aerospace industry. Unique technology like this biofilter that literally cleans the air by passing it through dirt can offer pollution control options that have never before been available. In this innovative air scrubber, the natural microbes react with and biodegrade toxic emissions from a metal foundry. Large businesses and small businesses can all benefit by the technical expertise provided to identify cleaner products and processes. AQMD services can also help expedite air quality permits and often guarantee small business loans to pay for pollution control equipment.
There's an inextricable link between a healthy economy and a healthful environment. You can't have one without the other. And by our supporting business development in this basin, we're helping to gain strength for our efforts towards attaining a healthful environment.
In 1994, these programs helped retain more than 11,000 jobs that could have been lost due to the expense of compliance. It's good when lawmakers put their foot down and just say no to pollution-heavy ways of doing business. It's even better when they join the effort to develop and offer cleaner solutions.
Clearing the skies over Los Angeles looms as a battle of epic proportions. But when government and business join in the cause as allies, they can focus on fighting pollution and not each other.
Paperwork. Even for companies who adopt the right technology, keeping up with the tons of official forms that fuel our bureaucracy can be a huge burden. By simply streamlining filing procedures, very stringent regulations can be a lot easier to comply with.
Buy low, sell high. Nothing rivals the profit-driven open market for keeping an economy thriving. Strategies to invest money in areas with the most potential often pay off with large returns. But the open market mechanisms need not be restricted to financial circles. An innovative strategy to enforce the nation's most stringent clean air regulations relies on the flexibility and incentives of the free market. Instead of stocks, however, companies trade in pollution credits. The goal is to clean the skies in the South Coast Air Basin. And rather than being forced to cut emissions at any one facility or piece of equipment, businesses can receive credits for reducing overall emissions anywhere in the South Coast Air Basin. The project, designed by the South Coast Air Quality Management District, is called the Regional Clean Air Incentives Market, or RECLAIM, and it may be the world's first multi-pollutant emissions trading program. It focuses on reducing nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide emissions. Volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, may be added soon. These are key ingredients of Southern California's pollution haze. Any company emitting more than 4 tons a year of either nitrogen or sulfur oxides currently falls under this program.
Our goal is to reduce pollution by the amount required to achieve clean air. Sometimes a small investment at one facility will produce a large amount of emission reductions, whereas another facility might have to spend 2, 3, or 4 times as much money to do the same job. We want to help businesses comply in the most cost-effective way possible. There's also a big incentive to go beyond compliance because a company can apply those credits somewhere else or sell them on the open market.
The RECLAIM program places a dollar value on every pound of pollution and then gives businesses the flexibility and financial incentive to develop innovative pollution controls. Traditional command and control programs focus on specific sites and not the overall pollution levels. Compliance can often be far more expensive, and the resulting emission reductions may not be as large. In this free market, companies can find the cheapest way to cut pollution, and the very stringent regulations ensure that every year the air gets cleaner. Most experts agree that profit is a major motivator. And by adding that incentive to pollution control, businesses can see green for thinking green.
Americans love to be world leaders. Unfortunately, right now, we're leading the world in trash. Consider this. In Calcutta, India, the average person throws out a little over 1 pound of trash per day. Now, in New York City, the average is over triple that number. I hope this show gave you some insight into how we can change things for the better. Join us again next time as we explore more environmental solutions on Today's Environment.
If you know of any interesting environmental success stories, call us at 407-997-9800. This has been a presentation of 5 Star Productions USA. The preceding program was sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.